What is the difference between digital marketing and traditional marketing?
Traditional marketing, as the name implies, focuses on non-digital avenues, so such as billboard, radio, direct mail. And then in contrast, digital marketing is everything that you're running online, whether it's banner ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, TikTok ads, any Google pay-per-click campaigns. But the main difference in online ads and traditional ads is really the trackability. Digital marketing provides a much more precise tracking compared to traditional methods. So with digital campaigns, you can track directly from what campaign the lead is coming from, what creative generated the lead, what copy is resonating with your lead. So it really helps you to laser focus on what is working online. Also with digital media, you can track how many touch points your client or customer faced before making the purchase. So you can track them across the web, whether they read an article, they visited your website, then they subscribed to your newsletter, then they saw an ad, and then they made the purchase. When it comes to traditional marketing, so billboard, radio, direct mail, is much harder to track it and to precisely pinpoint where the lead is coming from. Because it's really hard to say how many people are going to see your billboard or saw your billboard. How many people open up the direct mail piece and therefore took an action, or how many people saw your TV ad and therefore decided to call your business. Of course, you can have trackable phone numbers on your direct mail piece, on your billboard, on your TV ad, but it's not the most accurate way to track your marketing efforts. Because again, it's not just one touch point that leads to a purchase decision. So consumers don't watch a TV commercial and then immediately go to the website or dial the phone number to purchase your product. But it's a constant exposure that the consumer needs in order to make a purchase decision. And with traditional media, that's just so much harder to track. For me, traditional marketing avenues, so billboard or radio ads, TV ads, they're great if you want to build brand awareness or you just want to maintain a certain presence. But digital marketing campaigns really act as the force behind sales. So they can drive sales, they can drive scheduled consultations. They are the driving force behind people downloading or opting into a webinar.
How do you identify and target your audience?
Identifying your target audience truly begins by understanding the problem your audience is facing and how your company can address that problem. Stay away from any generic targeting that just targets women between the age of 18 to 35. Because when we think about it, someone who is 18 years old acts way different than someone who's 35. They do not have the same interests. They do not have the same ideas. They will not react to the same content because they're fundamentally different. So it doesn't make sense to put them in the same bucket and just group everyone between 18 to 35. Think about yourself when you were 18 years old and now when you're 35-year-old. There's fundamentally very different things that would speak to you. So simply reaching out anyone by just categorizing them into age is not an effective approach. What you need to do instead is pinpoint your target audience based on the specific problems that they are facing and how your product can solve that problem for them. So you need to understand the pain points and the struggles that your audience is going through and what emotionally triggers them and influences their behavior. Because you need to get out of the mindset by just segmenting your audience into general interest or into age. Marketing strategies that worked 3-4 years ago do not work anymore. It's all about speaking directly to your audience, making it all about them and not about you. It's about understanding their needs, their desires, and challenges when crafting the message in a way that really resonates deeply with them.
What is the difference between sales and branding?
There are two types of people in the world, ones that solely chase the sales and others who thrive to build a brand. If you're solely fixated on sales without really considering brand building, you're essentially running a sales operation. You're focused purely on driving sales. You want to get the immediate success. You're trying any tactic necessary to push a product or your service to potential customers without really focusing on brand awareness or brand recognition. So without allocating resources that would help you to build brand and build awareness. If you are just running sales operations, your number one goal is just to make sales. And all your strategies that you're running online are just targeted towards that goal. So all the resources that you're using, all your marketing campaigns that you are running online are just focuses on getting the lead, getting a product purchase. So you're not investing money in a social media strategy to push out organic content. You're not really focused on educational pieces, but just focus more on the paid media side. And then on the other side, if you're strategically crafting content to build a brand, you are investing in a long-term vision. So you're pushing out strategic content that will slowly increase your brand awareness. So once someone sees your post, they immediately associate with your brand or your name. The main difference is really patience. Building a brand requires patience. It's not an overnight effort. It's not going to take you a day. It will take years. It takes years for your brand to really become a synonym with your identity. So it's about consistently putting out authentic content that allows people to get to know you and to get to know your brand. But when you're genuinely invested in your company, focusing on building a brand is paramount. Because at the end of the day, a brand endures, it creates legacy and establishes connection with people. I always advocate for prioritizing brand building over solely focusing on sales. Because when you build a brand and people get to know you, they get to know your values, they understand what you're standing for, it's easier for them to make a purchase decision. It's easier for them to refer a friend to your business. It's easier to trust you. Because when you build a brand, you build relationships, you foster those relationships, and you're really creating lasting relationships that go beyond just the simple transaction. Because brand is in perpetuity.
How do you measure the effectiveness of a marketing campaign?
Measuring the effectiveness of your marketing campaign really comes down to the objective. There are so many campaign types, but they all have their own goals. So you can choose a campaign with the goal of brand awareness, leads, increasing your followers on social media. So determining the success of your campaign depends on what goal you're trying to achieve. So for instance, if you are trying to sell a product, you would look at how many people would go to your website or go to the product landing page, how many people would put that product in their cart, how many people abandon the cart, how many people are checking out. So you would look at your cost per acquisition, you would look at your conversion rates, you would look at your click-through rates. So all of these metrics will help you to understand whether your efforts are working or not. But it's way too general to rely on just one metric to understand the effectiveness of your marketing campaign, because when you analyze the effectiveness of a marketing campaign, it's a multitude of things that you need to define based on what you're trying to accomplish. Because when you're looking at, let's say, brand recall, brand recognition, you want to look at engagement metrics like likes and comments and shares, but you also want to look at your sales figures to see if they have improved since you started your brand awareness campaign. Ultimately, in order to determine the effectiveness of your marketing campaign, look at the objective, look at the goal, what you're trying to achieve. Look at all the metrics, they have a direct correlation to that outcome, to the goal you're trying to achieve. And then see whether it's working or not, or your campaign needs tweaking. So if you have a low click-through rate, then maybe it's the creatives that are not resonating with your audience. If you have a high click-through rate, but no one is purchasing your product, that might be more of a website problem. Maybe your website is too complicated to navigate. Maybe you're giving the client too many options. Maybe the design of your website is not great. Or if people are abandoning the product in their cart, maybe you didn't convince them to purchase the product, or maybe your shipping costs are too high and you should throw in a coupon code at this point. So really understanding the effectiveness of your marketing campaign is breaking it down into micro moments and then analyzing those micro moments to enhance your overall strategy.
What are some common marketing mistakes to avoid?
The number one marketing mistake that you need to avoid is expecting results too quickly. When it comes to marketing, especially digital marketing, you have to be patient. Because if you're expecting quick wins, that can lead to a lot of frustration and it can really hinder your ability to pivot. Running the same strategy that worked for you 10 years ago, 5 months ago, even 3 weeks ago might not be effective anymore today. Keep in mind that the market evolves really, really quickly. So it's essential that you need to pivot swiftly to make your campaigns relevant, to resonate with your audience, and not to fall behind. In marketing, especially as a marketer, you need to be open. And let's say, for instance, TikTok. You might not be on TikTok. You might not even like the platform. You might think it's absolutely ridiculous that people spend hours on the platform scrolling to 30-second videos. That might be your opinion. But there are tons of people on the platform. So you know that the attention is on the platform. So you have to be open-minded. And a lot of marketers make the mistake only because they don't like the platform. They don't want to be on the platform. But that's detrimental to your business, to your marketing efforts. Because as a marketer, you need to separate your own feelings about certain platforms, your own feelings about certain posts, but you have to do whatever is best in the interest of the company. So if I know that the majority of my audience is on TikTok, then I will advertise on TikTok. I will produce content for TikTok, whether I personally like the platform or not. It's not about what you like, but it's about where's your audience and where's the attention. If you are unwilling to embrace new changes, if you are unwilling to embrace new platforms, then it will definitely hinder your potential to grow. Another huge mistake you need to avoid that I see a lot of marketers and business owners make is just coming to conclusions way too fast. A lot of business owners write off a channel or strategy way too quickly without giving it the proper time it needs to evolve and to work. Jumping to conclusions too hastily and dismissing a marketing channel or dismissing a strategy can really lead to missed opportunities. So whenever you're trying out a new marketing channel, a new marketing approach, you want to give it time. So for instance, let's say you are trying out Google Ads and it's not generating results after 2 weeks, you need to give it more time. Google is not going to generate results after 2 weeks. It typically takes 3 months for the algorithm to really get to know you, to get to know your customers, to get to know your behavior. You have to make sure that all your tracking is in place. You have to play with different campaigns. So especially on Google, there's so many variables that you can use, whether it's a lead form ad, a performance max campaign, a banner ad, YouTube ads, pay-per-click ads. So you definitely want to embrace it all before you completely write off a channel.